All right, everybody, welcome to Turtleneck Table Talk. Today, we have a very special guest. I'm your host, Austin, and this is Devin. I'm going to let Devin introduce our awesome guest today.
Yes, and we are very pumped for our guest because he's coming all the way from across the pond. And he's already made such a huge impact on our fitness community, and he is just getting started. Today, we have Andy Sykes.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Yes, how are you doing today?
Good. It's another day in paradise. We're trying to make it work.
Right,
So
man.
before we get into it, because you have done so much, like literally, like I couldn't even memorize all the stuff that you've done. Let's kind of do a quick little breakdown, all right,
Sure.
of you and your background and everything like that. So you are an athlete.
Yeah,
Okay.
first and foremost, kind of an athlete. That's where I kind of started my career as in England, coming up as an athlete and ended up being pretty successful there. Team England, got good recognition, got out to the States for collegiate level and continued to progress through college and the experiences there. Then, working on my professional career too, teaching and getting my certifications, and then trying to use all of that together to create a business and then share that with everyone else.
What Team England?
Yeah, you just
You
kinda
wanted to know
like,
the
yeah,
same
you
thing.
just said- but
This
you
is Team
didn't-
England. That was
yeah.
pretty vague.
So bowling.
Bowling.
Yeah,
Bowling,
bowling
yes,
is
okay.
my thing. Yep.
Bowling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
And then you were also on the rowing team.
I coach on the rowing
You
team.
coached
Yeah.
the rowing team.
Yeah.
And then
Soccer. I was on the soccer
soccer
team
team.
here at WSU. Yep. And the cheerleading.
cheerleader.
team.
Yes.
my
Go
goodness.
Sharks. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, leading. I did it for a year. It was a great experience, and I'm all about that. Trying something, whether you like it or not, you gain something from that experience, and you learn a lot. And so, I jump into a lot of different things.
So athlete check.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you also worked with the school in two different capacities, correct?
Yeah. So I was a student, obviously, and got employed as a personal trainer, and through that, basically got connections and networked, and got to a point where I could be a graduate assistant. And I was like, am I going to go back home to England, or can I try and extend my time here in the States and continue this? I call it a vacation. I try to have that positive thought where I'm on vacation still.
Oh, man.
And can I extend this? And I got offered a graduate assistantship, and so I took that and got my master's in exercise phys, and obviously helping me continue my education there. But that also opened doors to, there was a coordinator, an assistant director, and I continued to, impress and work hard. And that's what I'm known for, is just kind of the grind. And got to the point where I'm an associate director of the recreation facility, running the fitness programs and things like that. Same time, during that graduate assistantship, I was offered to teach. I got really good at certain subjects, nutrition, strength and conditioning. And they're like, hey, do you want to try this? And I'm up for these challenges, up for these different things. So I said, yeah, give it a go. And now we're 8 years later, and I've been teaching every semester since. So as an adjunct professor and an associate director, I got to the level there, and now stepping down from the associate director to pursue Amplify full time.
That's awesome. Okay, I was
And
going to
that's
say,
what, yeah.
like when I'm on vacation, I usually don't go off and start a business.
All
So
this stuff.
I don't know.
Right.
What's your mindset with that? How'd you get on vacation and then?
Yeah,
Start a
you got to
business.
fund that vacation somehow. You got to how to keep playing and keep having fun trips and things like that. So if I can find a way that I can have a little more freedom or a little bit more control over my own life, my own finances, I thought, why not? Let's give it a go.
Yeah.
Try to start my business. Unfortunately, I was locked in as an international student. You can't work off campus. You can't do many things. So I had to wait for other things to align. And as my life kind of progressed, I got married and got a green card. And so that actually unlocked the ability to then, you can now open a business.
'Cause-
So I never had the idea initially to, I've got to find a girlfriend and get married. Those things happen, and
just
then
happen.
other
It just worked
doors,
itself out, yeah.
other doors open, and I walk through them. So I just take advantage of the opportunities I get and try to learn and be positive with it. So
Because that is in itself very impressive. And I think that that's such an interesting side of things that like most people don't have to experience, even as they are personal training or being independent contractors, is the whole issues with like green cards and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about like your experience with trying to navigate all through all of that?
Definitely, it is not easy. You try to do it the legal way; they don't make it easy. And yeah, obviously there is the illegal way, but there's
The
a ton of
fun way.
paperwork.
Fun
There's a
way.
ton of paperwork, and the easiest way is to become a student visa. And so that's why a lot of people choose that, is to get through and get an education here, because they get that right into the country legally and start that journey. And so that's what I did. And again, after my 4-year degree, I'm like, okay, what do I do now? Because I don't have the right to just stay here. You have to have a reason. And so I continued and got my master's and was a student for 2 more years. Then it was, okay, same question. After 6 years, I got my master's. What am I going to do? And I was sponsored by WSU, and I got a work visa. And so you need that, and you have to, in order to get that, there's a ton of paperwork. There's lawyer fees. It costs about $7,000 to do it, and so it's not cheap. And where I was going with that is,
You
you
just
have
really
to-
hated England that much that you wanted to stay there.
I love England, and I go home and I have a blast, and there's so many things I miss. But what I'm doing in terms of sports, it's a better audience here. It's a better business here in America, where you take sports just a little bit more seriously. Even at the high school level, the club level, it's great here. And so I'm able to really flourish in that environment, I think, that we have here. But going back to that green card, you have to get sponsored. You have to get a company to say, okay, we're going to put that $7,000 for lawyer fees and filing fees basically added to your salary. They got to pay more than that. And so often, if there's an American that's willing to do the job versus an immigrant, they're going to choose the American, and they don't have to choose those fees and those charges. And so you have to have a good relationship with that employer. You have to be able to prove that you're worth that amount of money. And one of the legal requirements is that if an American applies for the job at an equal resume, that they get the job, American first. So as an immigrant, you have to be better than any American that applies for that job. And so, it's a nice confident boost that, I did get that job, and that opened again the next door where I can get promotions and whatnot. And so that was nice, but it was funded by the employer, WSU. Once I got married and I needed a green card, I have to go through that whole process again. Every time you renew or change this visa or green card,
You gotta
go
get
through it again.
rehired almost.
So I have to be, for the student visa to work visa and then to green card, but that's not an employment obligation. That's my personal obligation. Because I got married, I chose to stay here with my wife. So I bared those fees. And so that was, $7,000 again to figure that out, and makes it financially quite difficult. But we got there. We got past it and on to bigger and better things. So.
Yeah, starting your own business.
Yes.
Yeah. And even still, that still is hurdles that I'm still not a full resident. I'm a green card holder. I'm still an English citizen. And so even getting business loans, even, creating business structure, I have to go partnership with my wife on that. It's not my stuff because I'm not a citizen, and they won't offer the loan to a citizen if you're not a citizen, because you can just escape and leave the country, sort of thing. I don't know all the reasoning, but that's my imagination going there. So
A whole lot of red tape there.
A lot of
things
bureaucracy.
you have to work through.
Yeah, insane.
Yep.
But yeah, I do want to talk about it, and I see your logo here. And
Yeah.
what I was looking on the website is that was the you're gonna help me out here because I looked up the word super composition.
Yeah.
Super
absolutely.
composition, and how does that? If you want to talk about that, and how does that get implemented into your training style?
I mean, it's been my whole life. Like, as I said, I don't shy away from a challenge, and this is what you do every day for training. You got to challenge yourself. And yeah, this A is a graph. It's when you're feeling like, you're recovering, you're at your best, and you commit to a challenge. That challenge normally hurts you. You go through a struggle. You become weaker for a certain point of time until you grow from it, you recover from it, and you become more resilient and a better version of yourselves. And so this is a high point that is just slightly higher than the top of the A. And so it's just this repeated pattern of get yourself under some stress, recover from that stress, be better, and repeat that process. And we do that in my life. I do that with my clients. I do that with exercise programming is how do we get better? You want to do one more rep, you do one more set, you do a little bit more weight, a little bit more volume. Somehow you're challenging yourself to be better and you continuously grow and progress from it. So that was the forefront for my whole design and the name. I was like, how do I get an A at the beginning? Okay, we got A names, A names. Okay, I just Andy, my company. This word, amplify, adjective to really, I think it embodies what I'm doing and what the whole message is. So I want it to be bigger than me. I want this to influence other people. I want it to be a kind of a foundation for other trainers, other coaches that I'm going to bring in and bring up. And that's what I do at WSU, right? I'm training these students that are about to graduate. A lot of them that I work with go into physical therapy and they're about to help others. And so this becomes a platform that I can educate from and speak to, and they can see a history of it. And it means more than just Andy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at least it doesn't just say Andy.
Yeah, right.
That'd be kind of
bigger.
funny, though.
Yeah.
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 Be great, though. Oh, man. Yeah. So, and with, amplifying, you guys amplified your locations. You're also in three different spots.
Locations,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We said it at
yes.
the same time.
Yeah.
It's so important.
That came about, again, it's never been in this huge plan. I never envisioned any of what I'm doing now 10 years ago when I came to the States. It's doors open as you work hard. And that's why I try to push that on everyone else is like, work hard, keep going, keep going. You don't know who you're going to meet. I met you, 10 years ago, maybe? Eight years ago. And now we're on a podcast together. So you don't know who you meet or what sort of relationship you're going to create and how that's going to impact you years down the line.
Yeah.
And so I bought a house with my wife and it had a garage and I'm like, I love this. And I just, in my evenings, on my weekends, I painted it and I started acquiring equipment and I started putting things together. And it was basically, I call it now Amplify HQ. It's where it started. It's where that business came together, where clients actually started coming to my house to look at this thing. And it's funny because they'll show up to my small house and they're like, I don't know, you're in a garage at the front. I'm like, no, there's a whole shop in the back, like a big mechanic garage that I've renovated.
Okay.
And I got to the point where I had another trainer that was trying to work with me, right? And we got to the point where we were like 100 sessions a month. And I'm like, this is a lot coming to my house. What can we do? Like, we need to find another location. We need to expand. Yeah. And another opportunity presented itself. And I said, let's try it. Let's go for it. And so that was at Wichita Hoops and in Bel Air. And that's our main location now. That's where all the cool equipment is. That's where our athletes are mainly going. And we grew it there. And as it's grown, it's got more attention. It's got more of an audience. And now I've got, like I said, Dave Sanders is a Major League Baseball retiree. He was a left-handed pitcher, very successful at the Chicago White Sox. And he's a Derby kid that grew up. And now he's back. Wow. He's living in Mulvane. He's got kids that are 15 years old in high school, and he's coaching baseball. He bought a shop in Derby, and he's like, I've got this. I know how to teach baseball, how to throw, but you do everything else. Can we partner? Can we come out here? And so, yeah, we've got this south location in Derby that is a large 5,000 square foot facility. We turfed it in December, so it's all turfed out, and I've put in equipment in there now. And yeah, it's going well. We were there this morning with a group of kids working hard, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's like very, very impressive because all of this stuff kind of happened like post-COVID, correct?
Yeah,
like,
post-COVID.
Because I know that already for Wichita, the Wichita market is already like so saturated with gyms. Like there's so many gyms. Like people would be surprised, big, small gyms and everything like that. And then the fitness industry was hit pretty hard with the COVID and with restrictions and whatnot. So to have that expansion go on during that time, like how were you able to navigate through all that? And while other gyms are like closing down or having to make all these adjustments, you're expanding.
Yeah. Again, it wasn't a plan. It was something that slowly developed. You know, I've been here now. This is 13 years, and my experiences have grown slowly. I think it started to take off more rapidly since COVID, but I think it's been the foundation that I've built that's been a lot slower with growth as a professor for 8 years now, like teaching, gaining that audience through. You see, I have classes of 45 students, so like 45 twice a year is 90 kids. I have 2 classes. That's 180 kids that I'm seeing every year for 8 years. Like the audience is growing, who I'm influencing is growing. And I think because of that, I had a great foundation, and that's really what set the path to be able to like grow like this. But it's not easy. I wouldn't say that I'm without any struggles. I'm challenged every day. It's changing all the time. Who is staff with me, who's working with me. I do internships with the school, trying to again grow them, and that's it. Partnerships are key. You have to do a lot for free. You have to do a lot with other organizations, because again, just like Amplify is bigger than me, what's bigger than Amplify is the partnership with other groups. And if we can bring them all together, everyone benefit, I will see some growth. Although it might not be 100% over the growth, I can grow some other company, some other team to some level. I take a step up too. And if we can keep growing, I think that's how you have sustainable growth that lasts a while. And again, it's about the relationships you build.
Yes.
Because you don't know how that is going to impact you later. And I'm big time on partnerships.
Yeah. What's your approach to building those relationships? Because you're like, you got your hand in so many things with Wichita, bowling, rowing, your classes, F45. How I met you. It's just a fitness class. So yeah, just back to what's your kind of approach when meeting people, building relationships to just kind of build yourself and your brand that you have?
Yeah, I think being my authentic self and trying hard. Like I think people see effort. Everyone can put on a facade and be a good person for that meeting. If you have a conversation, a podcast, you can be whoever you want to be. But I think they'll start investigating, right? And like, what do you have? And look on social media and stuff. I think if you keep showing up authentically to who you are, and you give your effort, and like knowing that your name's behind it, and that says something about you. I value that, and I don't want to be, ever thought poorly of. And so every time I'm in a conversation, I try to, and you don't always do it, right? You're not always successful. You have bad days.
Oh yeah.
You might miss an opportunity here and there, but I think overall, you consistently try your best, you have a pretty good outcome. And that's what I do. I just try and help people as much as I can. Like the rowing team, I set up, I was there yesterday downtown at the boathouse, and we're planning out the full semester and how I'm going to be training that team. And that's come about that team does not want to go on without me, because the relationship I built with them, they know that they can relax in terms of strength training and conditioning, and he's got a hold of that. And because I built my relationship with them where they know that I'm not going to let them down. They know that I care too much to not give good effort. And so that enables them to kind of relax on that front and focus their energies elsewhere. And we're all better for it. And so if I can do that sort of thing and repeat that type of process as much as I can, it just wears you out. You can only do so many things, how many hours in the day. You have to figure out where you want to put your priorities, but that's how I do it.
Yeah, man, that's a good approach to it. Yeah.
So kind of going a little bit with relationships, I feel like you've been able to kind of develop a really good like niche
Yeah.
So like, could you kind of go into detail about what that is? And just for people who might be like interested in personal training or whatnot, like why is it important to have that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So obviously my niche, I think, comes from your experiences. Why are you better than someone else at anything? And it's, what have you done more so of something than someone else? And my niche is bowling. That's really where that was my forefront coming into the States, and what I've continued to do, and as a coach for WSU, which is the world's best bowling program. Like
Yeah.
here, we have a
People don't always know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
It's amazing.
people don't
23 national
realize.
titles.
Yeah, talk about that a
Yeah,
little bit.
Yeah.
like really,
Yeah.
like because I think that it is so underrated. It's one of those things that like most people don't realize, like how good the
Yeah.
bowling team and how like people come to school to bowl here, like
Yeah.
specifically, like
Right. I'm wearing New Zealand band right now, and the reason for this is we just did a camp on the weekend at WSU for the bowling team, as a coach, and we had a guy flying from New Zealand
Oh my
to be here.
gosh.
We had 4 countries represented in those camps. We had over 30 states come in. They were driving in. Someone's driving 11 hours. Someone's driving, crazy times to come and meet with us for 8 hours a day for 2 days, Saturday, Sunday, and yeah, and why? Because we are renowned. The reason I came from Europe on the European tour is I was told, you need to get to the States. Our coaches are next level, and I'm honored to be part of that group now. We got an Olympian. Like the only time bowling was in the Olympics,
Wow.
our coach was in it for Team USA.
Wow.
Yeah, we've got national players that are coaches, professionals. It's remarkable what that program has, and the coach was Gordon Vadigan that really built that from I think the 70s, that built it up. And his bowling isn't a super physical game, and so how do you become that much better at something that's not physical? It's not about training, and it's kind of what makes me such a good trainer is not that the fact I know how to bench and squat and things like that. It's what other things make you a good athlete, because bowling is not that. So what would make you good? And it's the psychology of a sport. Bowling is repetitive motion. It's focus. There's many elements. It's mental control, visualization. How do you beat the opponent in their mind before you even go?
Ooh.
That stuff makes a good bowler. And when I then use those skills in my life or in business and then teach those to other athletes, we can all, like I said, work out. We can all do squats. We can all, like, whether you're a trainer or I'm training them, the outcome physically is going to be similar. What can you add to it that makes you better? And that's, I think, the psychology that comes with bowling that doesn't come with other sports, that other coaches maybe not have put to their students or athletes. So I was honored there. We brought in Dr. Dean Hennitz from, I think he's at Berkeley University. He flies in each year.
Oh my gosh.
And he's a psychologist that's just phenomenal. And he'll break you down. We all end up in tears. And then they build you back up as a team.
Wow.
And teams is another thing. Like, bowling's a solo sport, but yet how do you unite that as a team? And how that applies in, again, the whole world. If you can create teams, I'm a big team player. That's how a lot of my success has happened. It's not just me. It's the relationships that I build and the trust I form, and you will do something for me if I can do something for you, and we grow better together. It's a big part of it.
Yeah. That was cool to hear about the mental side of the sports psychology, because I wasn't introduced to that until maybe my sophomore year when I started wrestling.
Oh yeah.
And how much of a mental chess match that was.
Yeah.
And so I really want to hear more from you about that, because of like how much success the bowling team has had.
Sure.
And what steps do you bring to them when improving that state?
Hard to go through. I don't know how much
Yeah.
time we have.
Well,
yeah.
It's whatever you want to talk about, man, because that's just so interesting to me.
It's unreal. The level that comes in with the bowling program. These are most of them are Team USA. If they're from the States, likelihood that is that they go in Team USA. They're likely trying to go pro in terms of the PBA, and those that don't are still just like very, very good at bowling. And they love it as a sport. But no, it's a cool program. I'm just thrilled to still be a part of it and get those 4 years experience. But most people end there, and I said no, I'm not done. I want more, and have again been lucky to be asked to be part of the coaching staff to continue moving this forward into the future. Because Coach Vatican actually retired, and so the next coach, Coach Lewis, is now the director. We've got Holly Harris, who was a player alongside me back in 2010 to 14, is the women's coach, and we brought in Rick Stillsmith, who is a legend in his own right as the men's coach. And in the 3 years he's been there, we've been number one every year. So COVID year we were ranked one, never had the national championship title because the tournaments were cancelled, but we were ranked. Then the next year we win. And the girls team have been successful too. So it's really cool. It's really cool. We just don't get the recognition. I'd love to bring bowling to the forefront, but it's going to take more than me to do that.
Yeah. Well,
you're the start. You're the catalyst.
Yeah.
You're the catalyst.
Well, that's it. I mean, I'm going back to England. It's not a big sport in England. That's why I'm out here. And in Europe, it's not as big. The professional tour's here. And so I'm actually go back, see family over the Christmas, New Year break. I'm going to work with Team England and try to create a workshop to help
bring in
build
some
up
of your culture.
build up what we have there, so that either we can, bring more youth out to college and get the experience, or maybe I can bring some of that back to to England and help funding and help grow the sport there.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you try to? I've asked a lot of people the question of what's most important in rebuilding a culture, and with your experience starting a culture and being a part of great ones, what do you say is probably the biggest thing for you, most important?
I think you got to lead by example, right? You can't be the one. I don't like managers, that kind of delegate tasks and tell you what to do and stuff. I think you have to have part of that, but you also got to be able to show that you're willing to get in, get in the dirty action and put in the work too, and leading by example there. There was another thing that came to mind. I kind of slipped my mind again now, but I think you need to be putting in the effort, and that shows other people that, okay, they can probably do more than what they're doing too, and it brings, a united force together. I kind of lost my chain of thought. I can't remember what I was saying.
It was just about like the culture from bowling and
resilience. Definitely make sure that you just keep going. Don't give up. You've got grit that you can. And we've all through challenges. I think everyone has their own journey, their own challenges. Those challenges make you who you are, and it's you becoming resilient and overcoming those challenges that really brings success. And the more you can get in, and I was unfortunate, as a youth, I lost my mum at a young age, kind of developmental age, 9 years old. And so that was kind of really challenging for me to navigate that, and my brother. And I think, to my dad's credit, I came out, as good as I could. I really learned how to deal with my emotions. I learned how to, be tested and challenged every day going to school when no one packs your lunch. You come home and no one's got dinner for you, and no one's done your laundry, and you have to learn to be an adult really quickly. I think that only benefited me as an adult, hurt as a kid, but I think, again, those challenges, those struggles you go through build you. And you can always take the silver lining out of it. You can build it.
Yeah, it's encouraging to hear you do
so,
that.
Yeah, so
Thanks.
motivational. Yeah. So I feel like we've talked about a lot, and we still have not even touched into your venture with supplements.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, because you, like I said, you have so much going on, and that's, I feel like, very unique. Because I know a lot of people get into training, even people own a lot of gyms. But what was like the process of being like, hey, I'm gonna create my own supplements and I'm going to market and do all that? Like, how did that get started?
Yeah, I don't even know. So
I hope you would.
2015 rolls around, and I'm asked to teach nutrition. And although I got a good, I got an A in the class, and I was like, I'm good at that textbook. Didn't really feel like I had the right to talk about it. Kind of like imposter syndrome. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, I need to get certified. So I looked up some certifications. Some are like you have to sign up in advance, and it's a timeline. You can only do like PF1 is it one, or PN1. Found one that's a nutrition specialist that I could do. So I got certified in it. And it didn't take me too long, actually. From the knowledge I had from the textbook and teaching it for a semester, I was like, I flew through that certification and found it quite easy. And then I was teaching for a few more years. So I got, again, semester after semester, questions that kids ask. I know how to answer all these. I'm starting to feel more confident in this role. How can I, better the athletes, better the experience, how the, training, and protein is really the number one thing you can do is supply yourself with protein. Now, there's loads of supplements out there, and there's loads of marketing to the supplements. Protein is the biggest thing you can be doing to really support your growth and recovery. And I wanted to create this idea of having a business was there. I created that, and I'm like, well, I could be supplying the nutrients too. I'm a nutrition specialist. I could talk to that. I could then say, not only can I talk to it, I can supply a source that I know where it's coming from. So I looked online, I looked at different manufacturers, and decided on one that's out of Atlanta, Georgia. That's where my supplements come out of.
Okay.
And I already had the logo, so it was just, okay, and most sources of protein and other supplements, they're big factories that you order and they put it together. And so they often even have a standard, this is our standard formula, like you can buy into that. And so that's what I did. I bought into a manufacturing process, and they create the labeling and they ship it out for me.
Awesome.
And yeah, it takes time, You've got to get the review board to say, yes, what you design. You've got to design the graphic that's going to be the label.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to design the ingredients, design what you want in it. You then got to do the graphic, and that's got to be in accordance with the FTC and Trade Commission, and then there's a review board. And you've got to hit these checkpoints. But eventually, it was available, and
That's
I
awesome.
started. And then since then, I've tried to expand it. There's many options you can do. I'm trying to hit on the main ones, the ones that are beneficial really versus what's all talk. So creatine was one of the next ones. Creatine is known time and time again as a very beneficial supplement. It's probably the most researched supplement out there, and it's safe. So that was one. Glucosamine for joint health. I work with clients that are in their 80s. Okay, it's not all about athletics. Like I said, my experience is I'm not a footballer. I don't. Although I can do those athletic movements, that's not my niche. My niche is the knowledge now.
Yeah.
And so people come to me when they have a little bit more pain or irritation. People come to me that want to excel in their life more so. And so with these older adults, they've got pain. Glucosamine, again, in combination with chondroitin, decreases pain and helps collagen formation. So that was the next one. I added a joint repair supplement. And since then, it's gone through. The newest one that I just brought out is the liver. Because the whole craze on the liver now.
Liver King.
The Liver King, right?
Yes.
Liver King is I don't know what he's doing now and the hype, but obviously he was selling more than he should in terms of what he was saying liver does for you. But it is one of the most micronutrient dense things you can eat.
Okay.
It's got so many things. Because that's in our body, our filtration process, that's the first level that your food gets. You go through the intestines, and the first thing, it goes to the hepatic valve and goes to the liver. And the liver says, okay, I'll take all the good stuff. And if I'm full on all that good stuff, I'll supply the rest of the body with what's left. And so the liver's always the most nutritionally dense thing. It's our filter in our body. And in the animal kingdom, it's the thing that the alpha male always eats. I don't know if you watch documentaries. I'm a big Discovery guy,
That's
National
interesting.
Geographic,
Okay.
those sort of things.
Okay.
The alpha male line or whatever
Oh,
is the
that's
one
super
that gets
cool.
the liver. And it is very good for you.
Wow.
And so there's hype to it,
Yeah.
and marketing to it, but it is good for you. And so that's the latest one I brought out.
That's
From
super
there.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I know it's also interesting because going through my head there, your business isn't what I would expect for an immigrant dealing powders to distributing all that. It's not the first thing that would come to mind, but it's super cool to be able to taste some of it as well.
Yeah.
I've had the
Yeah.
chance to do
You've
that.
sampled
Yes,
it.
it's
Yeah.
sampled
And
it.
that's, I don't
It's
make
really
any
good.
profit. We partner with WSU and in their gym that you can sample it, right? $1 a sample. And so even sometimes I think I lose money on some of those dollar samples. But
I was gonna say
it's-
I looked at that. I'm like, is that?
yeah.
Do I-
I'm gonna buy 30 of those instead of buy the product, right?
I
I'd
guess
lose
so,
money.
yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like. Yeah.
But it enables more people to try it at an inexpensive way, and it's good stuff. So I'm willing to do that. And again, it's another partnership that I can offer with WSU that makes me better and makes Amplify bigger in the audience. And just more opportunities like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to go over there and try a shake. Is something I was looking over too.
A
'Cause I
fueling
saw you
station?
guys. You offer that now, don't you?
We did. So again, was never the plan, but there was a cafeteria available and no one's using it. I said, well, we've got supplements. We've got an audience. Let's try it.
Yeah.
Let's try it. And yeah, I mean, it's been pretty good. We had some huge tournaments at that location. Wichita Hoops is a $12 million facility, 100,000 square feet, 12 courts. They're multi-purpose. Then my training center on the side and a cafeteria. And so it just made sense that
That's awesome.
I should try this. And yeah, it's been successful. It's been going well. People like it, and I'm not a chef. I'm not. Yeah, I'm English, and our
The Gordon
taste is
Ramsay
pretty
does not come
bland.
out
Actually,
cup.
yeah, our taste is pretty bland. I eat chicken with no spices if I have to. I went through bodybuilding back in 2014, and I went through all of that. And yeah, I'm not the best cook. My wife doesn't let me cook. Yeah, she'll rather do it. I prefer it when she does it too. So, yeah. So we're working on the recipes, but
Okay.
it's going well. It's
Yeah.
got the good nutrients, and I explain that too when I sell the product. You want a chocolate smoothie? We break down those macros. We're explaining, okay, this is good. 90 minutes before or straight after exercise.
That's awesome.
Before your game, after your game. Why? The why is often what I focus on, not just like selling you something. I give you the why and I give you the reasoning because we're fueling. And we don't diet and exercise at Amplify. We fuel and train. We understand that it is a biological machine and you need to fuel it in a certain way. And if you do that way, it's more efficient. It's
I like
better.
that mindset a lot
Yeah,
better.
that is such a love that, because a lot of people, once again, like you were saying, will just prescribe stuff or tell you stuff, but they don't give you the reasoning why. And if you don't know the why, then you're not really learning and improving or amplifying yourself.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
You got to get
It's,
bought in, right?
yeah.
I can tell you everything, but it's like you can lead a horse to water. We can't make it drink. You need them to buy in, and if they don't understand it, it's very hard for them to buy in. They're just doing what they're told, and they'll be successful for a while.
Yeah.
They'll stop because they didn't understand the role that it had and why it was in that place. They stop and then they fall off or whatever, and that's where you see all the diets never work because they work for 2 months and then they quit and it gets worse.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of education. I'm big on that. That's my main thing as an Amplify coach. Is I'm the one going out to presentations. I'm the one creating the programming, and then I try to have my coaches facilitate it all.
Yeah. I wanted to touch on the diet piece that you said there because a lot of them don't work because they're just starting it to try to do it. And I think the mental aspect is there a lot in there. So if you want to talk about what you see on getting people started with a plan and also the mental aspect of continuing that plan, and what do you see in people with success in that?
Yeah, I think it will vary depending on the person a little bit there. But I think the key is don't drastically change, right? Because if you change your lifestyle completely, I think you struggle. You almost lose yourself. I think if you make subtle changes, and that could be, you know, what are you eating for? You're not eating breakfast? Let's try eating breakfast. Or, what foods are you eating? I think small increment changes. But if you try to do a gallon of water, cut your calories, increase walking, if you try to do everything at the same time, it becomes really overwhelming and it feels uncomfortable. And so we got to try to adjust their lifestyle in small increments to be successful, because that becomes, you do a little adjustment and that becomes the normal. And then you do a little adjustment and that will become the normal, versus like this drastic change that's really hard to sustain. I think that's where most people fail. They just want to go, extreme to the other way. I'm doing it. Why am I not 10 pounds lighter or 30 pounds lighter? I've been doing this for 3 weeks. Well, it took you 10 years to get that weight, right? It might take you 10 years to get out of it if you do it right. Yeah. And so it's explaining that and having that conversation that's just mature, and they can buy in, and that's the key.
Yeah, I'm sure that was you good. Agree exactly.
Yeah, because I was about to say that was a trick question to kind of test to see. And
if I knew what I'm talking about,
yeah, you get my thumbs up, because that's exactly, you pass it. So
yeah, that whole fitness training journey is like so mental for both of you guys.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Devin's been great. I've been watching Devin's journey, going through. You one of the busiest men I know through social media. I follow you when I can and see what you're doing, but you're at different, like 5 locations a day.
I'm just trying to keep up with you. You're my inspiration, so I just gotta keep up with you. So
you just tap through like 20 stories and oh my gosh, this guy
he's running around.
What is it, like iron sharpens iron? So I see your stuff, and it kind of helps to keep me pushing it and everything like that. So
for sure, I completely agree with that. You motivate me too, and other coaches too. Especially that have been on my team. Once they commit to me, I'm like, okay, you're a part of the team. I got to step up and make sure that I'm delivering to them so that they can do their job and deliver to Amplify. And so it's just this, snowball. Yeah. I got to keep doing that.
Yeah. And I love what this podcast adds to that snowball.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to build an awesome network. Yeah. Exactly. And I think I can see it growing already, and I have like a vision for that. And it's going to be pretty sweet. So yeah, dude, I'm just glad to have you on it.
Yeah. Is there anything else, anything that we missed out that you want to talk about? I mean, like I said, there's so much. I mean, there's so much more we could talk about. I mean, we didn't even go into depth over all your certifications, like all the different classes you like.
Do you laminate?
So because of that, like, where can people reach out to you if they want more information on, like, they want to come train with you, or if they want to come check out your facility or anything like that? Like,
everything. Amplify mytraining.com. So I managed to get the Amplify LLC as a company, but amplify.com was taken. So I had to go amplifymytraining.com, and on the social tags, Amplify My Training is how you can follow along with everything that we do. We post pretty much every day on Instagram and Facebook, putting out some content there,
including some cool, fun challenges with the trainers, like on Fridays and stuff.
I saw that last one. That was
try to have fun with it. We do a lot of seriousness, but we try to have fun in there too, and that builds the culture, it builds the relationships with your team.
Congrats on winning that, by the way. The box jump.
Oh, the box jump.
I saw that.
4'6". We got
look at that, dude.
Yeah, it was
because I wasn't there.
You might beat me.
Yeah. Oh man.
I feel bad for Christian because he's short. His jump is equivalent to mine. Yeah. But I got 4 inches, 5 inches in height. So
he was trying to show off at the beginning though with the single leg. That was a risky move, and it didn't pay off.
Wore him out.
Yeah.
But and my email is Andy@AmplifyMyTraining. And I'm driving around in an F-150 that is signposted. It's a billboard with Amplify. It's got my number there, and I'm sure we can share it out on the podcast after that.
For sure.
So, reach out. We're at Bel Air, and I'm pretty much scheduled appointment. I'm kind of all over the place, so I don't have set hours. So it is scheduled appointment. Reach out, and we'll get you in.
If you can, try to get into his private HQ, because that's like, it's actually like very, very like legit. Even though I haven't been there yet,
you get a free pass.
But
we'll get you
like,
in there. Both
it's like, it is a very like, even from the pictures and stuff like that, and the equipment that you have and the type of training you do is top tier. So
thank you.
Yeah,
that's the goal.
Yeah. Any I don't know time again, but what advice do you have to send people off after this podcast? Whatever you want to say to the audience, give them some advice.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm reading an audio book right now. I'm reading an audio book. I'm not a good reader.
Awesome.
I do audiobook for a reason. I'm listening to an audiobook right now.
Okay,
David Goggins,
Okay.
Never Done, I think it is.
I'm not sure.
It's this
what he
new
has.
one. And so we'll do that. Never Done. Like, you just keep going. You've got one life, as far as I know. And I feel like most people settle, and there's so much more potential. Most people live in 80 to 100 years now. So that means, you're not even halfway, most people, So let's keep going and don't settle and keep pushing and see what you can accomplish. Surprise yourself. And you'll be happy you at least tried, right? If my business fails, it fails. Yeah. But I can't say I didn't try and learn from that experience. So that's what I'll push to everyone else.
Love that, dude.
Yes.
Got a little chills going up in my body now.
Go.
Oh man, thank you so much for coming on,
You're
dude.
welcome.
Yeah,
And
thank you. We are so ecstatic that you came out. You were definitely one of the people that we really wanted to interview, and especially for me knowing you for such a long time. You are, and I know we kind of said before, but you are a constant inspiration, and you are and I hope that I'm so excited for the audience to see more about your story and about you, because not only do you get great results, but you are a great person, and it just reads and it just radiates in everything that you do. And so I'm just so excited for all the accomplishments that you have and that you're going to continue to have. And I'm just so happy to be sharing this moment with you, and we're happy that you're here as a guest. So
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Yeah,
So
appreciate it.
I guess
Yeah.
we'll wrap it up by saying
so
thanks for
thank
watching.
you for watching Turtleneck Table Talks. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and to tune in for our next episode,
gonna be
where
in
we'll
one of the
have
corners.
another amazing guest
Let's
telling
zoom in.
more inspirational stories.